Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from Odru well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Unto you I say shalom. Coming to you back on another lesson through the Spirit. Now I'm entitled this one, A Dystopian Society is Right Around the Corner. Because what the self-proclaimed white man, Esau, Edom, is doing up on the planet Earth, moving behind the scenes, passing all these laws, these legislations that are leading to be put, or to put people in that squeeze where they're no longer able to sustain themselves by working a job, maybe having 2 jobs, having a hustle, being able to travel freely, being able to afford the basic necessities from food, water, clothes, rent, electricity. These are all the basic necessities that the self-proclaimed white man, Esau, Edom, has straight up told the world that those basic necessities, that they're not a human right, that they're a privilege. When ultimately Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai created the earth, the resources, the animals, the fowls of the air, to be enjoyed without having to pay all this money, all this, these taxes, these dollars, because ultimately we're under the captivity, we're subjects under the basis of all men. And like the scripture says, Esau, Edom in Habakkuk chapter 2, his desire is as hell. He can never have enough. That's why he's trying to put that final squeeze upon the people, because people are already on that thin line, barely making ends meet, barely surviving. So he's going to make that final move, so where he's going to crash the system, crash the US dollar, shut the grid down, so he could reset everything. What the world today calls as a new world order, or the Great Reset, which is going to lead to the complete control of all the resources upon the planet Earth, from the food, the water, the air. You can't travel freely. You just had Spirit Airlines shut down this morning, because these are all signs pointing towards a very dystopian society. Because all the movies that Esau Edom pushes out, that Clockwork Orange, you got the 1984 movies like Equilibrium, Minority Report. This is all predictive programming to what Esau Edom is about to do. He's gonna have full on. He's gonna have full on surveillance to watching your every move. Every time you go off, you disobey his quote unquote laws, his draconian laws, he's gonna take away from your social credit score like they doing over there in China. He's gonna pretty much cut off meats, and start feeding people. He's already feeding people roaches and crickets, but he's gonna up it to a higher level. He's gonna be like, okay, you can no longer eat meat. You gotta eat this cricket protein bar, so on and so forth. But these are the times that we're coming into. But yet, the people in the world, they don't think that Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, is really capable of these things. But what they don't understand is that he's trying to get that left-hand blessing, that birthright back. And if he has to do it through left-hand means, through AI, through automation, putting people in digital prison, he's going to do it, because he's the devil. He's the deceiver. He's willing to go there, and he's taking it there. This is Isaiah 14 and verse 13. And it reads, "For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven, and I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation and in the sides of the north." So he's trying to be like Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. He's trying to be on the left-hand side like the nation of Israel. He's trying to do away with the nation of Israel, like it says in Jeremiah chapter 31, so the Lord can stop dealing, so he could do away with the Israelites, with the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Because really, that's what it's about. It's about doing away with Jake, because that's the only thing that's in his new world order being established. Is the remnant, the elect of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the 144,000 that are calling this devil out to his plan. So he's gonna shut everything down because he knows that he has a short time. Everybody knows what the self-proclaimed white man is. Well, not everybody, but the people in the know. These whistleblowers, these truthers, these Alex Jones. The only ones that really don't know what the hell's going on is our own people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And that's why majority of our people, when the NWO gets established, when Esau Edom implements that MOTB, which is the RFID microchip, they're going to be willing to take it because they're not going to understand what Esau Edom is really doing. He's trying to get that left-hand blessing back, or he's trying to get that birthright back through left-hand means, but he's not going to be able to. Yeah, he's going to get it established, but Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to bring him down. Verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. So he's trying to have his eyes everywhere, like the scripture says. The eyes of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua are brighter than the sun, 10,000 times brighter than the sun. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to be like Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, be everywhere, be omnipresent, through these cameras, AI, nanobots, so on and so forth. Through having complete control of when it rains, when the sun comes out, the stars, he's trying to block out the sun. He's trying to have control of, the oceans and the rivers, the waters, because he's a devil. He's already taken it there, but these people don't believe that he's willing to have everybody under a digital prison, but he is, by the way of that MOTB, which is the RFID microchip. This is Psalms 49 and verse 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own name. So this is the thought that these Edomites, these elite banking families, these Rothschilds, these Rockefellers have, is that this current kingdom, this white, quote-unquote white supremacy, which is really Edomite supremacy system, that is going to continue on forever, that they're going to establish their new world order and be allowed to rule for eternity. Have everybody under a digital prison. Everybody is rationed food. You can't travel here, you can't travel there. You got to have a digital ID, you got to have a CBDC, because these are the times we're coming into. But Esau Edom is sadly mistaken, because what he's doing up on the planet Earth is really fulfilled prophecy even more, because the scriptures is clearly describing what the plan of Esau Edom is trying to do up on the planet Earth. He's trying to do away with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. He's trying to do away with the nation of Israel so he could be like the Most High. This is Psalms 14 and verse 1. It says, a psalm of David. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. That's what these, what's his name? Klaus Schwab, his right-hand man, Noah, Yuval Harari. That's what they're telling the whole world in front of everybody's faces, that we don't need God no more. We can make our own reign. We can make our own human 2.0, because they want to be like Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. They think that they could do a better job than the Lord, when the Lord already created everything upon the planet Earth to be good, like in the book of Genesis. But yet these damn devils, they think that they could make a better version of the human, through merging human and technology, creating cyborgs and androids, because Esau Edom is a proud man. He's the most proud man upon the planet Earth, that he's willing to recreate man in his own image, trying to be like Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. And that's what he's gonna do when he implements that MOTB, that RFID microchip. He's gonna push it upon a world where if you don't bow down to him, you don't bow down to his system, he's gonna either cut you off from the system, you're gonna have to live off the grid, or he's gonna put that sword upon you. He's gonna put you to death. The firing squad, the execution squad. Says verse 2, and the Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek the Most High. Yeah, and they're not seeking after the ways of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, the Edomites, because they're the wicked. They haven't been given the wisdom. They haven't been given the fear of the Lord. That's why they're moving the way they are. Completely void of understanding, void of judgment, reprobate, degenerates. Verse 3, they are all gone aside, they are all together become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Not one Edomite upon the planet Earth, starting with the elite bank families. They weren't created to do righteousness. They weren't created to bring peace upon the planet Earth. No, they were created to be the wicked, to cause destruction, death, doom, and gloom. Because Yahweh Bashim Al Shai allowed Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, to rule upon the planet Earth so he could be set as an example of what not to do. And we already had accounts of that. The Tower of Babel with Nimrod, trying to bring everybody under one umbrella, under one language. And what did Yahweh Bashim Al Shai do? He brought that thing down. He shut that thing down. And he's trying to do the same with the digital Tower of Babel under that RFID microchip, which is the MOTB, the B system, where if you don't have the MOTB, you won't be able to have a job. You won't be able to travel here. You won't be able to go into the 15-minute cities. Like it says right here, 2nd Ezra 15 and 17. A man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able. Describing those checkpoints that we're about to come into. And you already had a small glimpse of that during the 2020, during the C-demic, the C-19. What did Esau Edom do? He established checkpoints. If you didn't have a C-19, a C-bid card that verified that you took the jump shot, the juice in your arm, if you didn't have that, you weren't able to get on the airplane. You weren't able to travel. You weren't able to go to your auntie's barbecue party. Because that's what Esau Edom did. He created division. And that's the times we're coming into again. When he implements that MOTB, the RFID microchip, majority of the world is going to take it. The only ones who are going to be reserved and not take it are going to be the remnant, the elect, the 144,000 and 1/3, those who stood stiffly for the names of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. They're going to be reserved during the hour of temptation. Like it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. That's only the remnant and the elect. But to the rest of these people in the world, the 2/3 Israelites, the heathens, they're to be able to travel, quote unquote travel, because Esau Edom's a devil. He's going to cut airlines off. To be able to travel in your smart car with a kill switch, with cameras everywhere, they're surveilling your every move. You're going to have that RFID microchip, that Karagma, the MOTB. And to be able to go into the grocery store and get your ration, your cricket food, your mashed up cockroaches, you're going to have that MOTB. And that's what Esau Edom is doing. He's creating a famine, with the Strait of Hormuz being closed. Fertilizer isn't making it through. So farmers can't plant their crops, which means there's not going to be a harvest. So all this conflict in the Middle East with the U.S. versus Iran versus Israel, it's all formulating a collapse of this economy, famines, pestilences. This is Revelation chapter 6 and verse 6. And it reads, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. So this is what Esau Edom is doing. He's creating hyperinflation to the point where people can't afford gas. Gas is $4, $5. People aren't going to be paying no $20 a gallon, $50 a gallon, $100 a gallon. People aren't going to pay no $200 for a loaf of bread. Because right here it says penny. That was a day's wage in the Roman Empire. A denarius, which today will equal about $250, depending on how much you make an hour. To be able to feed a man with a moderate appetite. But that's all about to be done away with. Esau Edom is about to ration things out. If you don't have this amount of social credit score, if you don't have this amount of UBI, because that's another thing too, he's going to implement that universal basic income, where he's going to give you credits on your RFID microchip, your MOTB, to be able to buy, this amount of cricket powder, cricket protein, cockroach protein. But ultimately, Yahweh Bashim Shai is going to bring this devil down, because he's not going to fully enjoy his NWO. This is Job chapter 14 and verse 5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So the Lord is going to allow this devil to establish his new world order, to get it up and running. Because the infrastructure, the AI infrastructure, it's already set up. You got the data centers, causing destruction and polluting the air, draining all the water. You got the cell towers, the 5G towers that were being established during the 2020 when everything was shut down. The infrastructure's here. All that Esau Edom needs is that black swan event. So he's justifying and resetting the economy, resetting society, so he can bring in that new digital system that's going to be spearheaded by the MOTB, which is the RFID microchip. This is Job chapter 20 and verse 23. And it reads, when he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh Bashim Shai shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So when he finally gets majority of the world C-hip, MOTB'd up, everybody under that squeeze, everybody has a social credit score. You got these 15-minute cities set up. Everything is rationed. If you don't comply with the draconian laws, you either get put to death or you get social credit deducted. You get points deducted. That's when Yahweh Bashim Shai is going to allow these countries to shoot the missiles, because this is going to be happening in the midst of World War III. Those missiles are going to be shot to the soils of America, which is Babylon the Great, the United States, and utterly destroy this place. And that's going to start the beginning of the downfall of, or not even the beginning, but that's pretty much the downfall of Esau Edom's kingdom, the self-proclaimed white man, and Yahweh Shai coming back and delivering the elect and bringing Esau Edom down, putting this devil in chains. When he thinks, oh shit, I won, I got my NWO up and running, I'm about to enjoy this steak, pour out this expensive ass wine. The Lord is going to bring this devil down. It's going to be that monkey wrench in his plans. But that's pretty much the point. I pray that this was edifying unto the elect. I want to give all praises on Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great men from Oduruel. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 in the rest.